You already know what it is. You are now tuning in to Damaged Goods. Hey, make sure you tap that follow. Oh, yeah. Make sure you subscribe, like, share. We're going to keep getting bigger and bigger. Damaged goods, but you know I still got the value. Did it by myself, I made my name without you. Yeah, I got a game on lockdown, ayy. See me when I'm chilling at the top now, ayy. I'ma tell my story. I don't give a fuck, you can watch now. Mind over matter, I'm telling the truth. Been through the worst, I got nothing to lose. Talking to me, better watch what you say. I am the one who don't play with no games. Velocity, property of my own shame. Militant minded and sick in the brain. Truly right now, I don't need to explain. Maki on fire, now you know my name. Ayy, yo, ayy. Damaged goods, okay, wait, damaged goods, okay, wait, okay. Damaged goods, but you know I still got the value. Did it by myself, I made my name without you. And I got a game on lockdown, see me chillin' at the fucking talk now. I'ma tell my story, I don't give a fuck, you can watch now. Damaged goods, but you know I still got the value. Did it by myself, I made my name without you. And I got a game on lockdown, ayy. See me when I'm chillin' at the top now, ayy. I'ma tell my story. I don't give a fuck, you can watch now. Yeah. Hey, hey, ayy. What? Ayy. Gang. Yo. You already know what the fuck going on. Damaged goods. Damaged goods with no motherfucking regrets.
Like a winner if I'm destined to lose. Wish you could lace up in my kicks and walk a mile in my shoes. I need to know if you could take it, end up dead in the news. Cause I've carried all my burdens, I got nothing to lose. I need to know if this rap game is truly more than a dream. I need to know, should I pursue it or just let it just be? Cause I know that I got passion and I truly believe that this firecracker moment, it is destined to be. I need to know which way that I'm headed. I need to know which way should I go. I need to know that my struggle is worth it. I need to know that I'm gonna make it. I need to know cause I'm getting too old. I need to know that my time isn't wasted. I need to know which way to turn. This road run out, all bridges burn. But it's all my fault, don't blame me. So been hard inside, just like my thoughts. All alone, no present purpose in the close broke, lost and deserved. So hard to word when he words just to go. That's where I'm standing sure. Is it really worth it when you fail so many times? If I die, well, let my front right on my tombstone, I try. Self-inflicted struggle, always caught up in trouble. And man, it's hard to see the picture, missing pieces to the puzzle. I need to know, will I figure it out? All the losing from me, will I feel the worry and doubt? Tell them look the other way till I figure out this maze. And I close the last chapter, finally put this book away. Now, hold up, wait, don't turn the page. Last paragraph, I gotta punctuate, reiterate. I can't escape, go back, erase this twisted fate. It's what it is, I can't forgive. Just change how my story ends. For the ones who know how this struggle is, I'm sending you my condolences. I need to know which way that I'm headed. I need to know which way should I go. I need to know that my struggle is worth it. I need to know I need to know that I'm gonna make it. I need to know cause I'm getting too old. I need to know that my time was wasted. I need to know, I need to know.
Hey y'all, what's going on? What's good up in here? So, I wasn't expecting to have somebody come on panel so soon, and I'm actually, I'm very proud of this person because they really didn't have to do this so soon, but they couldn't wait to share their story because they feel as though this new content that I'm going to be doing is very important, and not enough people speak about it. Not enough people have safe places where they can go to hear about it. And so with that being said, I am right now sending over the link, and he can click that link whenever he's ready. It should be over in your text. And let's get this party started. I need to know that I'm gonna make it. So anybody that missed my opening the other night, this playlist is dedicated to everybody that has suffered and struggled from some type of abuse. One type is not more important than the other. We all matter. We all count. And some of us don't even know that we are being abused. And so we're going to educate. We're going to be sharing, some tips, helps, pointers, things like that maybe somebody hasn't tried in their relationship yet. If it's rocky, just because it's rocky doesn't mean it's a bad relationship. It just means that you don't have the tools to make it better. We are going to be doing a lot of different content on this playlist. So as soon as he hops up, we will get started. I know Tina died. I'm really sad. She was 89 years old. I do, I sing Proud Mary for karaoke. However, I won't be doing karaoke until my voice gets back to normal. Do you need me to drop the link in the chat? Because I can do that if you want. Never mind. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up? How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? I'd like to introduce Aaron. He runs a channel called Get2Know, and he does really good content. It's very important. The things that he says and the statistics and just everything on his channel is very important. And I think that everybody should go check him out and throw him a sub. Tell him I sent you, because I think everybody's going to be able to get something out of everything that he does. I don't think there's anything that you talk about or anything that your guests talk about that won't touch somebody in one way or another. So, Aaron, if you would do us all the honor, can you please tell us about yourself, about your channel, and your story that you'd like to share with us? If at any time you want to shut off your camera, please feel free to do so.
Thank you. My name is Aaron. I run, like Noel was saying, I run a channel called Get2Know _ stop. The stop stands for Stand Tough on Pedophilia, STOP. That's kind of the concept behind it. For those of you guys that don't know who I am or any of that, I am a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. I was, I'll say horribly sexually abused from the summer I turned 5 years old to the time I started growing pubic hair at about 11 and a half, 12 years old, the summer I turned 12. It was by someone I knew, a very close person, a friend and family member of my dad's. I didn't have the courage to come forward or knowledge. Let me change that. I didn't have the knowledge that what was going on, what was happening to me was wrong. Like my parents, I just never remember talking to my parents about sexual abuse or any of that stuff. So, if you check out my channel, you want to get to know more about my story, because I'm not here to really tell about my story. I'm really here to talk about what the channel's about, what my channel's about, and the direction I want it to go. But my story is extremely relevant to why I'm doing what I'm doing. If you go to my channel, there's a live idea on there. It's called Secrets Will Be Revealed. If you want to get a little bit of insight about who I am and what happened to me, just go watch that and it'll give you a pretty good idea. Now on that live, there's nothing on my channel, or I don't like calling it my channel, but it's hard for me to stay away from it. When you become a member, when you subscribe to Get to Know, you become part of Get to Know, because what my vision is not something I can do alone. I need as many people to stand beside each other as possible, because if we don't, there's no way we're going to make a change. So a couple years back, I started therapy. Well, it's been more than a couple years, but my counselor and I had worked on all kinds of stuff together, and for years and years, I thought I was okay with the abuse that I received, and I thought I was over it. And then out of the blue, I don't know what it was, but everything just started sinking in on me, like really sinking in on me really bad. And I felt like all the progress that I was making with my counselor and the counseling, I was beginning to go backwards. And I'm not the type of person, I don't like that shit. I don't like going backwards. So we started talking about what it was that was bugging me and stuff, and I was just like, I just couldn't get out of my mind this parasite, because that's what I call them on my channel. I call them parasites instead of pedophiles. This parasite is still a free man. He never got in trouble for what he did to me. His answer he gave me for what he did to me, because I did confront him when I was 16, 17 years old. I did confront him. I asked him, I was like, why did you do what you did to me? And after after about 45 minutes or so, he finally, of course, when somebody's going to get confronted about sexually violating somebody, of course they're going to deny it. Oh, yes. Yes. Therapy does work, though. Yes, absolutely. I still see my counselor twice a week, and yes, I look forward to my therapy sessions. Absolutely. 100%. So it does work if you let it. You just got to be open to it. So when I confronted him, after he denied it for a good 43, 44 minutes or so, he finally gave me an answer. And his answer, it's horrible what he said. It's horrible what he said. And I don't mean to chuckle about it, but it's horrible. I got to, because it's that bad. But it was an answer. It was acknowledgement. He acknowledged that he did this to me. So it worked for me for the longest time. And his answer to me literally was, I never did anything to you that you didn't want me to do. Now, I don't know what kind of sexual favors a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old is asking a 35, 40-year-old man to do for them. But it worked for me. It worked for me for the time, for that moment. And I know that sounds fucked up. I really do. I know it does. But it was it was acknowledgement. And I knew at that point in time, I knew that the detectives weren't going to do anything. I knew I couldn't bring him up on charges, and I knew it would just be my word against his. And for me, it worked. It worked. It might not work for anybody else, but it worked for me, and it worked for the longest time. So in therapy, we started talking about just all my other issues, because I got a bunch of them. You know, do I got issues? Yeah, man, I got a bunch. You know, so I kept avoiding wanting to talk about sexual abuse, and finally that wall just crumbled on me, and said, basically was like, no, motherfucker, it's time for you to deal with this. So after talking with my counselor about it and going over this idea and that idea, and, you know, just different ideas on how to handle it, we came up with an idea. I decided I wanted to create awareness, because there's not enough people out there talking about this stuff. You know, there's not people. It's a shitty thing to want to talk about, but it's something that needs to be talked about. We're shying away from using words like pedophile and sexual abuse and you know, shit like that. And for me, that's just taking away the severity of what these words mean. Yeah, nobody should want to hear the word molestation, but if we call it M instead of what it is, I think we're taking away from the seriousness of what that word means. That's a serious word. These are serious words. These are serious actions. There shouldn't be a reason to dumb them down, make them less insulting, I guess you could say. I'm not sure of the exact, I don't know.
When you take away the meaning of something as serious as the things that we're talking about by using abbreviations, you literally take away the severity of the situation and turn a tragedy into just an everyday nothing. I agree with you, and I will not be abbreviating anything unless it's entitled, because then YouTube, you know, likes to give you a spanking.
Yeah. So,
but you're free to say what you want.
Yeah, and that's how I am on my channel. Like, if you want to use the actual words for what they are, I'm okay with it. If you want to use abbreviations for what these words are, I'm okay with it, because I just want to make sure everybody is comfortable, you know, and free to speak how they want, you know. So we came up with an idea. I wasn't on YouTube yet. I haven't even hit the 1 year mark as of today yet, but it's coming up soon. So, Mama Bear 2222 says, yes, I was raped, not raped. Yeah, yes, I was raped, not ARB. Yes, or SA'd. Stop making it smaller. Excellent point. Thank you. Yes, excellent point too, Mama Bear. Perfect. So my counselor and I decided, I told my counselor, I was like, you know, I want to create some kind of awareness or some kind of like support group for people who have been sexually abused, who had been molested as kids. So I started a group on my Facebook page, and it's called, guess what? No surprise, it's called Get to Know. I'm real original, you know. So, so I was running that. So I'm still running it. It's a private group because I didn't want to have to deal with Facebook and its terms, and you know, all the kids coming in and the content that's going to be in this group. So it worked. It really worked for me for the longest time, for over a year. I was feeling really good about shit. I was making forward progress. I went from going 3 days a week to counseling down to 2 days a week. So that was a huge step for me. And a little bit more than a year ago now, them walls just started closing in on me again. And I just sat back and I literally looked at the situation of how serious this fucking situation is in our country and around the world. Okay, like, you guys might not know this, but there's a child that gets their innocence taken away from them every 2 minutes just in the United States alone. That's 30 children an hour. Add it up real quick, you guys. 30 children an hour times 24 times 30 times 365. Holy shit. And that's just the ones that end up getting reported. Okay. That's just the ones that end up getting reported. So I got the hair up my ass and I told my counselor, I was like, okay, look, this isn't working for me anymore. I need to do something bigger. I need to reach a bigger audience. I need to reach more people because what I'm doing is okay right now and it worked, but it's no longer working. And we hashed this over and hashed that over and did this and talked about that. And we came up with creating a YouTube channel. So that's what I did. And it's really helping me. But okay, this is going to sound stupid as fuck. Okay. I'm not doing this to get clicks and views and subs. But I'm doing this to get clicks and views and subs. You know what I mean? Because the more clicks and views on these videos I get, I'm reaching more and more people. More and more people are getting this message and they're getting to know how bad this really fucking is, man. 81% of everybody in the United States, 81% has been sexually abused or assaulted at some point in time in their life. Of the United States, 81% of the entire United States population, as it sits right now, 81% of them have been sexually violated at some point in time in their life. Holy fucking shit, man. And it's only getting more and more and more. Pretty soon, it'll be 100% of everybody in the United States will be a sexually abused victim. Think about it, you guys. Think about it. There won't be one person walking the streets in the United States of America who hasn't had that experience of being sexually abused or violated. It's fucking disgusting. It's fucking horrible. And yes, I got a mouth. I will apologize for that. But I got a mouth. And I'm working on not using it, but this is who I am. That's how fucking serious this shit is. I'm so passionate. I'm so passionate about this. Like, I wake up in the morning and I'm trying to figure out ways to expand this so I can get the word about this shit out there to more and more people. I don't care. There's only a few panels that I refuse. I will never go upon and I will never appear on and I will never support. Okay. And I'm not going to be name dropping. So, but I will go up on anybody's panel at any point in time to spread the word about this shit. It's horrible. What this parasite did to me as a child, I don't know what it's like to have a childhood. That was taken away from me the summer I turned 5 years old. What he did to me had a lifetime of shit that I never asked for. 262,800 kids a year. Thanks, Peggy. Thank you, Peggy. I really appreciate you putting that in there. Yes, sweetheart. I'm on a live, sweetheart. Yeah. What's up? What's up? So 262,800 kids a year are sexually violated. Is that one of your kids? Now let me throw this statistic at you.
It could end up being anybody's child at any given time.
This computers and smartphones and all that shit. A child is being heavily pursued by a human trafficker every 2 minutes in the United States. Happening right there in your kid's bedroom. happening right there in front of you while you're talking to him. Your child is a target, and there's no limits to what these parasites and these motherfuckers will do to get to your children. To be honest, every single person I know who is in my life right now all have a story. It's insane, right, Dolly Bear? Well, Dolly Bear, tell your friends about my channel, and if they want to, that's another thing my channel is about. It's not that I'd like to have people up there to tell their story, but I feel the more people that come up to tell their story, the more and more comfortable, and the more people will be able to come forward. Like, you know how hard it is? I can only imagine how hard it is for a woman to talk about their sexual abuse, okay? And we don't get into detail. We just say, this is what, you know what I mean? We just tell our story. But to be a man who was literally raped by two men at some points, you know how hard it is for a man to talk about that shit? Men don't come forward. Men don't talk about their abuse. They don't do it.
It's actually a topic on my list of things to talk about for the subject, is that statistically speaking, you're going to hear a greater number of women having some type of abuse happening than a man, because a man is supposed to be, stronger and have pride, and they're embarrassed and how could this happen to me, and they don't want to let anybody know. But men are victimized just as often as other people. Unfortunately, it happens to them when they're younger and innocent and can't always fight back. It's not often you hear a grown man come out and say this happened yesterday. But when you do this to a child, you destroy that child before that child even knows what they want to be when they grow up. They don't even know what they want to wear for Halloween, and you already just fucking ruined their entire life, their dreams, everything. And
see, and I don't remember. I wasn't even in fucking kindergarten yet before my childhood was destroyed. I wasn't even kindergarten yet before my future was written for me to be full of fucking turmoil and struggle, man. White Boy asks, he says, why didn't the man get arrested for this? Because by the time I came forward about it, it was quite some time later. This stopped when I was 12 years old. This stopped when I was 12 years old, and I didn't tell my parents until I was 17 years old. And that's the common problem. Like my wife, okay? My wife is a survivor of sexual abuse. She was sexually abused by her stepdad. My wife and 5 of her friends were sexually abused by my wife's stepdad. He was turned in. He walked into a courtroom, admitted to doing what he did, and since there was no physical evidence, or not one of the girls wrote down in a journal that this happened to me on this day and this happened on this day, he literally walked out of the courtroom a free man. And it's realizing shit like that. Like, I read all kinds of cases where this shit happens all the time, dude. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm not a child sex advocate for abuse. Sorry, I'm getting frustrated.
take your time.
I am not an advocate for sexually abused children. I'm not. I've never claimed to be. I know on my banner it says protect the children, but that can be taken in many different directions. It literally, protect the children by changing the laws and the penalties when it comes to childhood sexual abuse and abuse in an all-around nature. All around, because the laws and penalties are not strict enough. The penalties do not match the crime. They don't. Now, my brother-in-law recently, almost 2 years ago now, He got arrested on federal charges for drug trafficking. Okay, I'm not condoning drug trafficking, so don't get it twisted. That's not what I'm doing. The judge that sentenced my brother-in-law sentenced him to 31 years fixed time, 5 years state and 26 federal. Fixed time is what he's going to do for drug trafficking. The piece of shit parasite that got sentenced right before him for his 5th time of production of child pornography, possession of child pornography, and distribution of child pornography, guess how many years he got?
5. 3 to 5.
5. He got 5 fucking years for the 5th time. His 5th time. Where's the fucking justice in that? My brother-in-law is probably going to die in prison for bringing drugs to other drug addicts. But that motherfucker's going to get out and abuse more children and do what he's doing again and 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 again. There's no cure for this. The only cure for this is to make the penalties so fucking strict. It's going to force people to make that decision. If I get caught doing this, I'm going to get the death sentence. Yes, I am pro. What's that?
We have that in Florida. DeSantis, he doesn't have to be anonymous anymore. I am very proud of him. You should not need an anonymous vote. It needs to be you do this, you're going. I'm for the death penalty. Shit, you can take him out in the courtyard for all I care.
Right. Now see, I don't know if you know about this, Noel, but I covered this on my channel about a month and a half ago or so now. There was a parasite that got caught with so much child pornography, they literally had to weigh it on a fucking car scale. He had over 250,000 images that he himself printed off of his computer in his possession. Let that over 250,000 individual images of children being raped and molested. And they estimate that the youngest one was, guess how old? 6 months. 6 months. What's the penalty for that crime? This dude's 76 years old. He's been doing this his entire fucking life.
And
entire life.
Always will, because they're not strict enough laws, penalties for these crimes. Like you said, you cannot cure it. There is nothing that is going to fix these people. There's nothing that's going to make them change what they do and what they like to do, because they enjoy it and that's who they are and what their lives are built around. And if no one's going to protect our children and give stronger penalties, I'm sorry, I will take it into my own hands. Lord, help somebody if that happens to a child or my child around me. They're not going to make it. I'll end up going in for 30.
They'd probably put me away. They'd probably give me the death sentence, because I would fucking take this person and I'd cut him up chunk by chunk and feed him to his dog. Okay? Sorry.
There's nothing wrong with
that. Yeah. Mom Bear asked, Aaron, I missed it, but I know you said by the time you wanted to turn them in, the statute of limitations was up. How were you treated by law enforcement when you talked to them? At first it seemed like they were, kind of sympathetic in a way, and they were kind of interested in my case. But as soon as I told them how long it had been, and I didn't have no physical, I turned into a fucking joke. It turned into a joke. Like here, not too recently, back a couple years ago, the parasite that did this shit to me. I keep a really good eye on my county sex offender registry. Okay. Now, I noticed that this parasite that did this to me, he was non-compliant. Okay. Now, it just so happens, call it a coincidence, call it whatever you want, but my wife's abuser happen to live in the exact same town that my abuser lived in, and neither one of us live in that town, but that's where they're from, is the same town. So the same day I noticed my abuser was non-compliant, I noticed my wife's abuser was non-compliant, because I got scratching my head. I wonder, there's 28 people right here on my sex offender registry that are non-compliant. I wonder how many's in this area. So I noticed this at the time. My abuser had been non-compliant for like 9 or 10 months. My wife's abuser had been non-compliant for about 9 or 10 months or so. Now my abuser is now compliant. My wife's abuser is now dead, thank God. But my wife's abuser stayed non-compliant until the fucking day he died. My abuser was non-compliant for over 18 months before he became compliant again. Now, it might just be me, but if I'm not mistaken, non-compliant means what? That you're doing everything correctly?
Non-compliant means you're not doing anything to be helpful, you're not giving any information, and you're pretty much admitting guilt without admitting guilt.
So non-compliance means you're doing something that you agreed not to do, or you're not doing something that you agreed to do to be on that sex offender registry, so you're not sitting in prison. Correct? Correct. So when I called this county's police station and I asked to talk to the sex crimes detective, and I told him what was going on, the motherfucker literally chuckled, almost got into a full-blown laugh when I said, well, he's non-compliant. They're non-compliant. Go fucking arrest him. You know what he said? We don't have the manpower to do that. You don't have the manpower to uphold the fucking law? You don't have the manpower to uphold the fucking law.
I'm sorry, but the police these days are kind of a joke. They're not in it for the right reasons anymore. And I really hate saying that. I am not against the cops, but I am against a lot of the ones that do nothing but try to entrap you or just BS. If I get enough speeding tickets, I can keep my job. Fuck everything else.
Yeah.
Or instead of preventing a crime from happening, they make you wait until it happens, and then it's too late. And then they're going to fix it? How do you fix something like that after it's happened because you wouldn't take the warnings and the calls and the people reporting it over and over and over again serious? Sorry, no crime was committed yet. We'll take care of it when he does this or she does this to somebody else. So you're basically saying, I need you to do this before I can even look at you. How about you get off your asses, put your fucking donut and coffee down, and you follow your leads and you watch. You're not doing anything else but sitting around bullshitting with your buddies anyway. Sit around and bullshit with your buddies while you're watching these people that are being reported to you.
Yeah. So I told him, I was like, I know where both of these motherfuckers are at right now. Like, I have their addresses. Like, the parasite that raped me, he lived like 7 miles away from me. My wife's parasite at the time lived like 8 miles away from us. So I asked him, I was like, well then who do I call? Who do I call to get this taken care of? If you, the fucking detective, and you, the actual city police, won't do shit about it, who the fuck do I call about it? And he says, well, sir, I can't tell you that. If they're not on probation or parole, there's really not much we can do about it. The fuck you mean? Now, that's when I learned this, okay? I learned that day that when a sex offender when they're released from probation, off of probation and off of parole, they no longer, even though they have to spend a lifetime on the sex offender registry in some cases, okay, or whatever, which I think is bullshit. I'll get into that in a minute about the sex offender registry. It's a fucking joke, but
they don't even care. They know you live in the parameters, and they won't even say you have to move. You're within the mile. You have to get out of it. No, they don't care. They don't care. We know where you are. There's kids around. Good luck.
Yeah. So when an offender, a registered offender, gets released off probation and parole, let's say they have to register for the rest of their life, right? They're 25 years old and they did their time and they got out of jail and they got off parole or probation and yeah, they have to register as a sex offender. Now, do you know what the requirements are to stay compliant as registered as a sex offender? You get a letter mailed to you 3 times a year. Mm-hmm. And it gets mailed to your address. You got to sign it and send it back to them. Once a year, you got to physically go into the office, sign that same piece of paper, and get your fucking picture taken. That's what they do. That's what they do.
You register every time you get a new job and every time you have a new address, and that's it. I am not even sure if they do home checks to make sure. I know people that use different addresses. I know of people, I don't know personally anybody like that, but I've heard stories that people will use different addresses so that they are in compliance of what the regulations are. And then you don't even live in that address. It's just an address that they're being allowed to use. Yeah.
So once they get released, there's nobody to hold them accountable and watch what they're fucking doing and making sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and they're not doing what they're not doing what they're not supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? So they're free to do whatever the fuck they want. Now, my opinion is this, okay? There's no magical list that I can sign up and get put on for 5, 10, 20 years. That at the end of that 20 years, I become no longer a sexually abused victim. I will be a sexually abused victim for the rest of my fucking life. God himself cannot take that away from me. Nobody can fix that for me. This action he did created that for me for the rest of my fucking life. But this sex offender agrees to a plea bargain, and now he only has to register for 5 years and get put on probation for 5 years. It's fucking ridiculous, man. If you murder somebody, if you murder somebody, are you not a murderer now for the rest of your life?
I certainly are.
If you're a bank robber and you go to prison for bank robbery, are you a bank robber for the rest of your life?
Yeah, I'd be a bad one because I'd probably end up in jail, but I would still be one for the rest of my life. Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no magical list that I can sign up for that's going to take that away from me. So why is there this list that they can be put on that after 5 or 10 years they no longer have to register as a sex offender? Why? What the fuck? To me, I have to relive the fact that I'm a sexually abused victim for the rest of my fucking life every single day of my life. That's the reality of it. When somebody gets murdered, it sounds callous for me to say, but if you think about it, it literally makes sense. When somebody gets murdered, At least they only have to experience that one fucking time. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's harsh
It's not,
but
I understand. It
what's that?
happened. I understand what you're saying. It happened to them, and it's a tragedy. Their families get to suffer for the rest of their lives because of what happened to your life. But you yourself have to relive this nightmare for the rest of your life, and it won't go away. And when you think that it's better, it pops up into your head and it makes it worse again. It doesn't go away. It will never leave your brain.
No, it won't. Neither one of these actions will ever leave. Like the day I told my parents what happened to me was one of the worst days of my fucking life. One of the worst days of my fucking life. To this day, I wish I would have never said anything to my mom and dad. My mom and dad carry around this guilt of what happened to me, and they have ever since I told them about it. Even though I've talked to him time and time again about don't feel bad, like don't feel guilt. You're not the one who did this shit to me. Yeah, but we could have done this. Yeah, but we could have done that. Yeah, but we didn't.
How could they have known? How would they have known it was happening? It's not their fault any more than it is yours. Yeah.
The only person at fault was the motherfuckers that did this to me. And I know that my parents, even though they say they don't, I can see it in them. I know my parents, man. I can see that it still fucks with them.
Do we know? Do you know how many other people may have been his victims as well, or was that not released in court?
No, he never. Yeah, see, he never got to see. Okay, he is a registered sex offender. Okay, now I found out just through doing some digging that back in the '60s when the Vietnam War was going on, he picked up a charge for. I think it was lewd and lascivious conduct with a child under the age of 12 or some shit like that. And in the courtroom at the time, they were taking anybody who committed felonies, and if they agreed to go and enlist in the Army or the Marines, that they would not send them to prison. They could go and enlist and go to boot camp and go into the military and fight for the country. And, it's kind of a good idea in a way, I guess. But see how he did it is he took that plea bargain. Yeah, I'll enlist in the Army. He went and enlisted in the Army, went to boot camp, walked into his counselor's office or whoever the hell it is and said, I'm a homosexual. Instant Section 8. Instant Section 8. Because at that time, homosexuals weren't allowed in the military. Nobody knew he was a homosexual. But since he enlisted and went to boot camp, plea bargain done, deal done. So he escapes the prison sentence. He escapes having to go to war, and I know for a fact that he got his hands on a couple of my younger uncles, on a couple of my cousins, and he ended up catching a charge. I think it was in 86. 86? I think it was 1986 that made it so he had to register as a sex offender. But back then, there wasn't really any way to check to see who was a sex offender because the technology wasn't there. But I can guarantee you that he never quit. I can guarantee you he never quit.
They just get smarter and they don't get caught unless somebody says something.
No, white boy, you're wrong. He said dude was a real predator. Sounds like no, dude is a real predator. 100%. 100%. But so here's the concept for my channel, okay? Let's get to it. Even though it's kind of hard to stay positive, let's get to the more positive aspects on what my channel's about. Okay, this is what I want to do. Here's some of my concepts. Number one, laws and penalties have to be changed. I think all sex crimes and crimes against children, whether you're an adult or a child when you get victimized, I think all sex crimes should be federally mandated into federal law and not allow each individual state to pick and choose how they want to sentence these criminals. We need to make it. We need to make these laws federally mandate them into federal law, so it makes it so much more simpler to actually prosecute these parasites. Okay, number one. Number two, far too often, when these cases happen, the first thing that the fucking prosecuting attorney does is they go to the fucking defendant and the defense and they say, "Here, how about this? We'll do this. If we'll drop this charge, and this charge, if you plead guilty to this charge and this charge. And if you plead guilty to this charge and this charge, then we won't make you register as a sex offender." What? Why the fuck does that prosecuting attorney think it's okay for him, who this didn't happen to? He's not representing himself. He's representing a victim. Maybe that victim don't want you to offer their abuser a plea bargain because you want to get a fucking guilty conviction. So number two is no plea deals for sex crimes. No plea bargains for sex crimes. That's another thing we're going to push for. 100%. You commit a sex crime, you don't get a plea bargain. Why? Because I didn't get a plea bargain. His other victims didn't get no plea bargain. I didn't get no fucking deal. His victims didn't get no fucking deal. So that's number two. Number three, I think it's time that we start holding these judges and prosecuting attorneys 100% accountable for handing down slaps on the fucking hand when it comes to these sex crimes. Period. If you're sitting there as a judge and a prosecuting attorney and you got the details of this case, and the first thing you want to do is offer this motherfucker a plea bargain, and then the judge said, "Oh, let me take into consideration his PSI." The fuck you mean taking? Look, what do you mean take into consideration? No. You sentence them according to the law. Period. There was a case here in my town. Go ahead. Okay. There was a case here in my town.
You're absolutely right about everything you're saying.
Well, I appreciate you agreeing. So there was a case right here in my town. This was about a month ago, about a month back. This parasite was 24 years old, and over the course of 4 years, with two separate girls, and remember, these are just the ones that came forward. Okay, I'm sure he had more than this. The two girls that came forward that he molested and raped for 4 years. The prosecuting attorney dropped like 8 out of the 13 charges and charged him with 5 charges that he was originally facing. And then when it came to sentencing, the judge said, "I don't want to condemn this young man to a life of struggle and whatnot, because I think inside that there is a good person in him and he can turn his life around." The judge literally suspended the 15 years of prison time, gave him time served, which was 3.5 months, and 3 years fucking probation. That's what he got for destroying 2 young girls' lives. That's what he got. Are you joking me? Are you joking me? Where's the justice in that?
There isn't. There's no justice in that. He got away with nothing, and his victims had to suffer for the rest of their lives. Disgusting.
Yeah. Disgusting. It's horrible. So this is something I like I like to kind of do so people kind of get an idea of how bad things are getting and whatnot. But I usually try to keep these right around an hour or so. That's because I got a bad back and some other issues I got, attention span and anxiety. So right now we just crossed 55 minutes on this live. Okay. In another 4.5 minutes from now, we will cross 60 minutes. At that 60-minute mark, mark down 30 notches on a piece of paper, because that's how many new victims became victims of sex abuse. 30 children an hour become victims of sexual abuse. So while we've been sitting here talking about this, 30 children have become sexually abused victims for the rest of their life. Let it sink in for a minute, you guys.
That's really terrible. But you know what, Reese? It doesn't stop them cutting off their manhood, as you called it. They're still going to be into pornography. They will still be into using other items. If they can't use items, they will never be cured. Just because you cut someone's cock off doesn't mean that you prevent them from using their hands, objects, computers. Everything that person will do for the rest of their life will be towards victimizing another person. And they don't always stay in what you think their category is. They might be a pedophile by choice, but they will eventually move onto other people as well. But they will always go back to children.
Now, I'm glad this was brought up. I'm glad this was brought up because everybody, don't take this wrongly, please. I don't mean anything ignorant by it. But why does everybody assume, basically from that statement, chop their manhood off? So you're saying that there's no female sexual abusers out there? What do you do with the female sexual? What do you do with the female sexual abuser? Happens all the time. I was raped by my 8th grade computer teacher. Crazy. What do you do with her? You can't chop shit off of a female.
The amount of females that are on the registry list, and
it'll blow your mind.
I live in, I always register where I live, and I continuously get email notifications. And it goes all the way back to other addresses in other states and towns I've ever lived in, and it gets worse, progressively worse every time I get alert.
Right. So.
And when you look at those dots and the different colors, because they try to categorize it by the severity, there are so many. I mean, like, there's more dots than there are clean areas on that map.
Yeah. It's horrible. It's that.
It doesn't take away from the fact that they can use other items, that they could still stare in windows, pornography.
Yep. That's a good point, because I was just gonna expand on that a little bit. New research is showing, because back in the 90s, back in the mid to late 90s, when they started chemically castrating men, okay, like real heavy, they started chemically castrating a lot of men. Now they're finding out through studies and research that the men that they chemically castrated, it didn't stop them from doing what they wanted to do to kids and children. It literally made them become more sadistic, more violent. So they took this person that was touching children and turned them into a fucking beast, into a monster, using pop bottles, using sticks, golf clubs, you name it, they've used it. Because for a lot of them, it's not about the ejaculation that they want. It's the power, manipulation, control that they will forever have in their mind over each and every one of their individual victims. Okay, baby. That's how most of them are. I'm not saying that they're all like that, because I'm sure there's quite a few of them that are just in it for the physical gratification. But a lot of them, It made them worse than they
Mentally,
were to begin with.
mentally, they are still getting their jollies off. They are still doing everything except for being able to use their dick.
Yep.
I'm not sorry that I said it that way because it's the truth. Like I said, you don't have to have a penis. You can have your freaking clit cut off. You can have your vagina sewed shut. There are still other ways. And if you are into that type of shit, you will figure out what those ways are and you will use them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Nobody is safe from people like that.
No. And a lot of people, a common misconception that I see since I've been doing this, a lot of people think that these crimes are committed by strangers. 91% of all sexual abuse charges that get charged, that actually get picked up and somebody gets reported, 91% are committed by somebody that child knows. Why? Because do we let our children just go run around with fucking strangers? No, we don't.
I have them at bus stops. I literally have pedophiles, registered sex offenders living within walking distance of bus stops. So I have to go to the bus stop with my children because of that. It's insanity. What about when they do back in the day when we were kids, you would go and sell candy door to door. Sometimes it would just be a group of us that would go when we were older, like middle school age. Our parents didn't go with us all the time. You are literally knocking on doors. You have no idea how many of these people you walk past in a grocery store, at a park.
Yeah, that's a perfect point. If you are a sociable person, if you go out into society, which 99% of us do, okay, I don't so much because I got issues, but if you go out into society, it would blow your fucking mind if you actually knew how many of those people, that dude that you just popped that candy bar and that soda pop from at 7-Eleven, he's gonna go home and rape his kid. That person you just held that door open for, he's probably touched a couple. There's so many people that we have interaction with every single fucking day of our lives that are sex offenders. Yes, Mama Bear. I'm showing that shit right there. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Right there. I know this is harsh, but I feel like a bullet is the only cure for someone who sexually assaults children. I call these 47-cent cases. Why? Because it costs approximately 47 cents to make a 9mm bullet. You can't find somebody to pull the trigger? Tell me about it. I'll pull that motherfucker 30,000 times a day if I had to. I don't give a fuck. I would 100% agree with you, Mama Bear.
Targets too, so try running, bitch. It just makes it more fun. I don't care. I agree.
You know what I mean?
I think if you do anything like that to a child, even an adult, nobody should have to walk around in fear, answer the door by themselves because they're home alone and be scared of who's going to be on the other side of that door. If you are convicted of any type of crime, rape, molestation, I don't give a fuck about your fucking abbreviations. The words are what they are, and they are those words for a reason. That person should be convicted and killed on the spot. And I don't think the whole injection process is good because you know what? That's just an easy go to sleep drug. Nah, bitch, I want you to suffer.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, to be fair, after all, I have suffered since I was 5 years old. He should get at least 10 minutes of fucking suffrage time. You know what I mean? Public stonings.
Had he been put in jail, he would have gotten some type of payback. He would not have liked it. Chomos do not like when other inmates find out that they are a child toucher or that they hurt.
But see, here's the thing, though, Noelle. and it's been happening in my state for a few years now, for quite a few years now. And if people actually pay attention to what's going on, they'll figure it out too. Okay, right now in my state, they have a completely separate fucking unit for sex offenders.
So
They don't go into the general. They don't go into the general population. They have their own fucking cafeteria. They have their own fucking yard. They have their own. They house all these fucking sexual predators together in the same unit because the prison systems do not want to be held responsible for all of these motherfuckers getting killed. It used to be real bad. It used to be real bad back in the 90s and in the early 2000s that you could guarantee that if you're going to prison for a sex crime, you're going to get some fucking inside prison justice. It's not so much like that anymore. It's really not. Yes, it happens. Yes, it happens. It does. But it's not as bad as people think it is. It's not like that anymore.
They are protecting them. That's terrible.
Yeah. And then they get out of prison, and if somebody takes and looks up their name on the sex offender registry and they go kick their ass, well, now I'm in deeper trouble than they've ever been in because I just kicked the ass of a sex offender. So they get sent to prison, they get protected in prison, they get out of prison, they get protected out of prison. The fuck are we doing, man? It's time we, the adults of this country, the ones in charge of this country. Don't get it twisted, you guys. Our government is not fucking in charge of our country. We are. Our government is to work for us and pass laws that we, the people of the United States of America, want passed. They are called representatives because they represent we, the people, and our voice of what we want. That's how it's supposed to work. That's how it needs to be gone back to. Period.
It used to be, I was going to say, it used to be that way. What happened? You know what happened? The politicians are just as bad as the fucking people doing it on the streets because they are doing it as well. But we just don't know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they should absolutely be in Gen Pop. Fuck a private little fucking homo community in a prison. Since when did they have fucking rights? Since when did they have
the whole thing? Exactly.
Look, unless they go in there and say, I want to be in PC. You know what? Everyone has a right to PC. They should not have a right, but it's the way it is. Or do you think someone's going to hurt you? Yes. PC, right off the bat. But there should not be their own little private fucking disgusting, dirty little fucking area for them to sit and get their jollies off trading stories. The fuck out of here.
Now, see, and a lot of people don't know this either. Okay, there's a national. Now, this will be the last one I talk about, and I'm going to go. But there's a national sex offender registry. Okay, it's a brilliant concept. It's a great concept, and it's a failed program. It's a failed program. It really is.
They should have a bracelet. They should have an anklet on to monitor and make sure that they know at all times where those people are. But they're lazy people. Scarlet letter
these motherfuckers. They can get a tattoo of a fucking P across their whole fucking face. I don't give a fuck. I've heard judge after judge after judge after judge say these exact same words. Okay? Well, it's not okay to make somebody struggle. I can't get a job being a registered sex offender. You think I give a fuck what kind of struggles you're gonna have in your life because you did what you fucking did to a child? I don't give a fuck if you become homeless and people piss in your face every fucking day. That's what you deserve to get, buddy. You shouldn't have done what you fucking did. I don't care if you can't ever get a job or a home or a girlfriend or fucking anything, man. I don't care. You know what the Bible says? You know what the Bible says about somebody who injures a child? What? Someone who injures a child should have a millstone tied around their neck and be drowned in the deepest depths of the ocean than to harm a child. They should tie a millstone around their own neck and drown themselves in the deepest part of an ocean than harm a child. That's what it says. That's what it says.
I like that that you said that, because a lot of people don't know much about the Bible these days. A lot of people don't read it. So I was very interested in hearing what you were going to say, and I'm happy that you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what as being a man who was violated as a child and tortured and will be tortured for the remainder of your life, how do you protect your children without being a helicopter dad? What do you do that you think that you would never have done if you didn't suffer these circumstances? So what do you do now that you think you would have done differently had your life been different?
We kind of talked about this earlier.
I know. I just want you to say it again.
The day my wife walked out of the bathroom and told me she was pregnant,
right?
I changed all kinds of shit in my life instantaneously, because I didn't want my children going through this shit that I went through. At that same time, my wife and I sat down and we told each other, and we had an honest conversation about this, that no matter what we fucking did, we would do whatever it took to make sure our children didn't become a victim of sexual abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So from the moment that we thought our kids could understand and comprehend exactly what we were saying, we started talking to them about it. To this day, I will randomly, at the most oddest points in time, like on Christmas morning this year, my daughter was opening up a gift. She's like, I can't wait to see this. I looked right at her and I said, has anybody sexually abused you? Come on, Dad, knock it off. I know how to read my children. Now, if you ask that question, if you ask that question to a child and they're not expecting it, and if you're watching what your child and how your child reacts, if they've been sexually abused, you'll see it in their reaction and how they respond to you.
Yeah,
you'll see it. So I get asked that question. What's that? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, how do you feel about the internet games where they can talk to everyone and anyone throughout the entire country and other countries, and you have no clue who these people are? I, for instance, will tell you that I've always spoken to my children's friends on their Discords and on their headphones when they're or headsets, whatever it's called. I'm old. I don't use the cool lingo terms, but from the time my kids were younger and they were getting involved in the Xbox Live and all that, I always made it a point to talk to the people that they were talking to. So what do you think about that?
Absolutely.
Access, and anybody and everyone can talk to them and say they are whoever they want to say they are. Do you participate in the online, gaming like that? And if they do you meet the people? How do you feel about that situation?
I think that the internet should not be something children under the age of 18 should have access to.
Yeah.
Since there's no way to actually monitor who they're talking to, no matter what you do. I mean, yeah, there's ways. There's no way I would be able to break it down, figure it out, and see exactly who the hell, you know what I mean? Who it is. I wouldn't be able to. Yes, there are people that can do that, but that's not me. But I think it should be banned for children under the age of 18. I'm sorry, I do. Unless they can figure out some kind of program that can guarantee that only this certain age group is in there and it's a safe program, then that's my feeling about it.
Agreed.
Plain and simple.
Yeah, the internet is kind
It's
of
a
like the devil.
cesspool for fucking child abuse.
It's terrible. There's they have all these rules and regulations, but nobody, I feel like they just put them in there as a disclaimer and they don't follow what they say
Right.
they are about.
Right.
They restrict this, that, and the next thing. But when you report it or you just watch your kids or playing games, my kids have always, just up until recently, they've always played in the living room so I can hear what's going on. And I've always literally, if my kids were here right now, they would tell you I have spoken to every one of the people that they speak to. And I don't care if they like it, love it, or hate it. I want to know who that is. And then I ask them, do they say things inappropriate? What kind of stuff do you talk about? I want to know, and you're going to tell me, or I'll snap that headset in half and toss it away, and you don't get one anymore. It's that simple.
Yeah. See, now, check it out. I'm gonna say one game, and people are gonna be like, "Oh yeah." Now, I bought my kids many a times. I bought whatever the fuck they are on Roblox, whatever the hell it's called.
Roblox. I've heard about it, and I have no idea what it is, but I think
Right.
my husband does.
Now, if your child has played Roblox for any period of time, I guarantee you that your child has been approached by an adult to do something fucked up for Roblox points or whatever they are. I guarantee that.
Looking into Roblox, and I don't know why, but somehow, some way, I just ended up either seeing it on like Google or whatever, or I just was being a nosy mom and looked into it, and it actually says that there are more adults on a net system or game or whatever it is than you would imagine, and that really made me very unhappy. And they use it as hookup sites and stuff too, and that's another thing that disgusts me. Every fucking platform has a private messaging app, and that's just not like hooking up with adults. That's getting into your children's ears. I'm 15 years old. Here's a picture of me. Meanwhile, it's their neighbor's daughter or son.
Yep.
And that's all it takes for that child to be like, oh, okay, hey, well, blah, blah, blah. Roblox, yeah, I just recently, I think like 2 days ago, literally learned about that. My son was like, oh, it's just a bunch of kids games. It's like nothing serious, Mom. Okay. Nothing serious. Well, I looked into it, and it doesn't sound innocent. Nothing is innocent anymore. Nothing.
Just jump on Google. Type in Roblox and pedophilia in your search queue. Go for it. See what it pulls up. You'll fucking puke.
Roblox and pedophilia.
Just Roblox, and then don't put in Andrews. Put in Roblox pedophilia. Watch.
Pedophilia and Roblox runs to the top. It'll take a long time to get the pedophiles out. Is Roblox used for grooming? The Roblox game takes the form of a digital playground. By exploring the playground and playing mini games, players will learn to identify, report, block bad guys as they collect coins. They can exchange the coins for groomer repelling skins for other avatars. Is there inappropriate stuff on Roblox? Yes, there are lots of games on that platform that contain adult, sexual, and violent content, or content that is otherwise inappropriate for children. Is Roblox child exploitation? Roblox is the largest website potentially used by predators to target children. According to the police officers in Alberta, RCMP's Internet Child Exploitation Unit. Sergeant Carrie Shima said, children as young as 8 years old have been targeted on the game, which describes as a virtual arcade. More than 300 Roblox users are reportedly launching money by using in-game currency to purchase fake in-game goods. Go to the account settings. There's nothing good. Not one fucking thing that you see on Roblox is good. Nothing at all. Roblox is for pedophiles. Watch this video. It's literally a link to a YouTube video on Roblox.
Fucking crazy. Now type in. Let's do this. Like type in. What's another really sociable platform, popular platform for kids to go on? TikTok, Snapchat, TikTok. Type in Snapchat and pedophilia, or TikTok and pedophilia. Watch what comes up, man. All of it. It's fucking disgusting, man.
Snapchat pedophilia, all right? Is there, well, yeah, no shit. I've always considered Snapchat to be fucking inappropriate since the day it came out. All right, let's see. Snapchat, prevent pedophiles from sharing. Is there inappropriate stuff on Snapchat? What? Duh. Common Sense Media rates Snapchat okay for 16 and up, mainly because of the exposure to age-inappropriate content and marketing ploys. What is the
Steffers, I love you, sister. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Snapchat states that people under the age of 13 are not able to create an account. However, how do you make it a point to make your kid not say they're fucking 20?
Unless you make it mandatory for you to fucking show proof of ID. Like if you go to a gambling site and you want to cash out your winnings, you got to show your face with your ID right next to it. Unless you're making people sign up for these fucking platforms, unless you make them produce ID, all you got to do is type in a fucked up date that says you're fucking old enough to do it. That's all you got to do. It's not like they check it.
Snapchat is the choice.
Exactly.
Sexting due to disappearing messages. It automatically erases all evidence of sexting from a device after viewing.
Okay. Now one more. I just did a live on this a couple nights ago, okay? Mm-hmm. Noelle, are you on Facebook? Are you do you have a Facebook page?
I have my YouTube Facebook.
Okay, that'll work. Anybody that's watching this right now, if you have the chance to get on your Facebook page right now, log into your Facebook page and type this in, okay? I'll type it in the chat what I want you to type into Facebook. Now, I found this because I was looking for sexual abuse groups and sexual awareness groups on Facebook, okay? So I typed in sexual abuse, sexual awareness, and this is what it popped up, okay? I want you to type this in the chat. Or I want you to type this into your Facebook page. Oh, yeah. Type that in your Facebook search queue and watch what the fuck it pulls up. Watch what it pulls up.
18 to 19-year-old videos. Why not?
Okay, here. I'll turn my camera on real quick. This is what popped up for me.
Click it. She's showing.
Nope, it's not. It's neither one of those. Okay, type now. Instead of leave that 18, 19-year-old videos on there, and then on that type in "on me hot sex watch."
Hey,
Hot sex.
Hey.
What, babe?
real fast. Take a look up. So, our conversation we had before.
Are you sure you want to continue? All right. What the fuck?
Look,
It's all full of porn shit. What?
that's for later. So that's nothing.
It might be a little bit of something. It's
All right.
everything porno, porn. You had to hit the.
Right here.
Are you sure you want to continue? Yeah, that's what I said.
Back and work out with,
Yep,
Scott might come here, so I'll miss out. Don't worry about it. You'll be all right.
it's fine. It is.
There you go. Crazy shit. This particular one that I'm showing, this particular one that I'm showing right here, I lodged a complaint against it because I believe this is inappropriate material to be on Facebook. So I put it in the report, and Facebook literally replied to me that they didn't find anything wrong with the content because it's there. What the fuck does that have to do with breastfeeding? What the fuck does that have to do with breastfeeding? How about that?
Not a fucking.
How about that? How about that?
Fuck it. Oh my. You know what? I don't give a fuck if they fucking report me. You see that? It's a dog, ladies and gentlemen.
On fucking Facebook!
Fucking dog on Facebook. Fucking some skank ass whore.
On fucking Facebook, people.
You know what? Fuck that shit. Fuck everybody. You want to report me. I don't give a fuck. This is what your children are being exposed to on Facebook.
On Facebook. I found that shit by typing in sexual abuse awareness, people. Yeah, Christina. What the fuck? With that being said,
So you click a video. It says continue to website.
And I couldn't get myself to click on the shit. I couldn't do it. Yeah. This is what I got to say to Mark Zuckerberg right here. Right here, Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, and there's a little
Fuck
chat
you
box,
punk.
your name and your email.
Yeah. So, with that being said, I'm going to throw this little out there. We're coming on an hour and a half. That means 45 children have now become sexually abused victims in this country. Just in America, you guys. Okay? Remember that. Think about it.
Now, how do we
What the hell
change
is
it?
this?
What exactly is it that we are able to do to change it? Because you know what? I couldn't tell you the first thing that we could do to change it. I have no idea.
I can.
It's something that we have to do.
can.
It's probably something we can do.
I know what we can do. We can stand together as one fucking cohesive unit, as one united front. As cliche as it is, united we stand, divided we fall. I will not stop doing what I'm doing until the day I fucking die, people. I need your help. Our children's children need our help now, people.
Absolutely.
Spread the word about what I'm trying to do, you guys. Put my channel out there for me. It's not about money to me. It's not about money to me. It's not about clicks and views to me, but it is about clicks and views, because the more clicks and views we get, the more likely it is that we're going to make a fucking difference in our world, in our country. If we don't, pretty soon, it'll be okay for us to trade our children off at the age of 9 to men who were 60 years old for a couple of goats and a fucking camel. Legitimately, people. Legitimately.
I agree.
Okay? Do me a favor. Do me a favor, you guys. Do me a favor. Share my channel. Put the word out there. Come join up with Get to Know and what we're trying to fucking do. Let's stand together as one for once and make the future better for our children, dude.
Peggy, I'm showing those pictures to you so you can see what your children, if you have children, are being exposed to. If you don't like it, get the fuck out. That's how I feel about that. I don't give a fuck about your why do you want to show us that. I'm showing you because if you have children or grandchildren, you should want to see what they have access to. That's why. Don't like it?
And remember,
my feelings will not get hurt.
yeah. And remember, Peggy, I found this shit by typing in sexual abuse awareness into my search queue on Facebook. And that was the first fucking thing that popped up.
It's disgusting. It's terrible. There's no reason in the world. But you know what? It's on TikTok. It's on Instagram. It's everywhere.
Yep. It's everywhere.
I have literally found it everywhere. And I've actually honestly don't even look for it. I'm not looking for porn and shit on fucking TikTok. I just happen to come across it because you know why? When you're a YouTuber, people want to fucking sub to you and be friends to you on all different platforms because that's what they have. And we share links and videos and we joke around. But you know what else? You also get the thirsty whores that are trying to make some fucking money. And then they contact you. And that's how I found out. Because when they follow you and you follow them back, you get, hey, thanks for following me. I'd love to exchange pictures with you. Here's my site where you can see everything you want, including the inside of me. Yeah. That's how I found that shit out. Because I didn't think that was even there until that started happening to me. Question why I'm showing you those images. Close your fucking eyes. You act like you're 5. You know, you've seen boobs before. But your children shouldn't.
If you were offended, I'm sorry to say this, and I've never said this on my Get to Know shit ever, but if you were offended by what you just seen, imagine how offended you're going to be if your child or your grandchild, you took their phone from them and they were trying to do a report on sexual abuse awareness, and they were looking at that fucking shit because they think it's sexual abuse awareness. If you're offended by that, then I'm sorry, get the fuck out of here too then. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry, Noel. I know this is your platform. I know this is your channel. But fuck that shit, dude.
I told you to get the fuck out first. Don't apologize to me. This is
fuck that shit.
Not everyone's gonna like me. Not everyone's gonna love me, and not everyone's gonna hate me. But they all know what the fuck to expect from me.
Is that okay? Exactly. Okay. Now here's my thing on my channel. Okay. If you come to my channel, we don't talk about other creators. We don't get into any of that fucking shit. If you come to my channel, if you are there for any other reason, but for the purpose of what Get to Know is, get the fuck on and get the fuck out. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the fucking problem. Period.
That's one of the people that keeps their eyes closed, the blinders, because they don't want to think that anything bad happens. But right there on the screen, Dee Dee, if we don't know about it, how can we protect our children?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Last thing. Okay, guys. I promise this time. This is the last one, okay? And I promise you this. Do me a favor. I can't. I don't know how to do that I don't know how to do that on here.
Hey, Mom,
can any one of you moderators drop my link for me again?
Yeah.
Or for them because they want it?
Drop this link for him, please.
This is the last thing right here, okay, guys? I promise you. Do me the biggest favor ever, okay? And tell your friends about me because they're going to want to know. This is Get to Know. Have a safe Memorial Day weekend, everybody. Protect your children through education, education, education. Don't be afraid to talk to your kids about this because if you don't, the likelihood that they become a victim is 99% guaranteed.
There we go.
If you don't educate them, they're going to become a victim.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
Absolutely.
If you do
Noel,
not know, you have no knowledge, you're always going to fall for the okie doke. And when you're an innocent child, it's not your fault. Even adults fall for it. We can't trust anybody. What makes you think a child, an innocent child, can trust people? We're not stupid. We know better. Aaron, thank you. I know you want
Noel,
to go.
thank you.
You know I can talk forever, but I love you.
And I could too. I could too. I just got some medication to take. Plus, it's Memorial Day fishing season. Fishing season opens at midnight tonight, so I got to get to the river. I'm trying to get to the river, take my kids out, and do something positive. And anyway, I appreciate the opportunity coming up here. Any of you other channel creators, any of you other content creators, if you want somebody to come up on your panel as a guest, hit me up. I don't care if you want to take this wrongly or not. I will gladly be a panel hoe to get my message out there to everybody. Straight up, I don't give a fuck what.
Making money off.
I don't give a fuck. Huh?
I said I'm gonna pimp you out like I'm making money off you.
Hey, I say fucking pimp this sweet ass out there because this is my mission. This is what I was put on this earth to do. I've never had direct. Go ahead.
God's work. You're doing God's work for us. You are helping us protect our children. We're not doing our content's not too far off. Yours fits in with mine. Mine fits in with yours. You're protecting children, and I'm protecting anybody and everybody that wants to come on. And children should be the main focus. And you know what? Fuck it. I'm kind of sorry that I showed the pictures because I knew I shouldn't. But I also don't give a fuck because it shouldn't be on a platform that our children have access to. I don't care what anybody has to think. I don't care
if you're an adult, and that content shocked you, think about the 12 or 14-year-old that just looked up that same thing because they were trying to do an innocent paper for schoolwork, and that's what the fuck they got. Don't be mad that you've seen the content. Be mad at the motherfuckers that's putting the content on there, and be mad at the motherfuckers that are allowing the content to be on there. Because I put in 2 reports now on this same channel, and both times the report came back as they're not violating any community guidelines because it's about breastfeeding.
Here you go.
Fuck off with that shit.
You should have got at least between 5 to 10. I've seen say that they sub to you so far. It's important. He has a lot of knowledge. He shares a lot of statistics. He has a lot of people on his panel, just like I will be for this situation, sharing their stories. And it's not about, an eye for an eye. Like he has his own thing and I have my own thing. It's about people have to work together to save each other and to help each other. And the only way we're going to be able to save everyone is if we all get together and work together. I have no problem with anybody dropping his link all night long. It should be dropped. You know why? Because he has a great channel. That's why I agreed to work for him. I also work for him. So, I never ever tell anybody to sub up to anyone if I don't think it's worth your time. I think he's worth your time. He won't let you know.
I'll be happy to.
Who said that? Eric, really? Hey. I'm dropping my email right now in the chat, Eric. Email me, dude, because I have yet had I don't want to say I'm excited because I know what you're saying. Okay, bro, don't take it that way, but I'm actually excited that you put that in there because I have yet had
You know what, Eric? I'm actually
yet to have.
I'm gonna drop my email too because you're welcome to share your story on here as well. So it's in there if you want. I definitely hit us up, hit him up, hit me up. I don't care, whatever. Everybody deserves to be heard, and everyone listening deserves to hear because the only way we will learn is to be told. So you guys always have room on my panel. You always have room on Aaron's panel.
Absolutely.
just
I got to be kind of mean on this one. I know I met him on your panel, but I have yet to have a male come up on my panel. So if he doesn't want to, if he wants to do it on your panel first, that's fine. But I would like the opportunity to do it first with him. You know what I mean?
Hey, I'm not preventing anyone. I'm telling people go to you.
I know. I'm just saying. I don't care. I don't care whose panel any victim goes up on and talks about it, because that's creating awareness, and that's what I want. I'm not going to get mad if somebody else goes on somebody else's panel and somebody else's channel wants to cover this kind of stuff. That's not the kind of person I am. I'm the kind of person, all I want is the knowledge of this shit going on and it being broadcast out there, and people are starting to, and people seeing how bad it's fucking getting. I don't care if it's on your panel, my panel, Jimbo, Bob, whoever, not Jimbo's channel, not that Jimbo. So don't get it twisted. That just came out that way. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's on Joe Smoke's fucking channel. I don't care.
The more channels you're on, the more awareness you are spreading, the more people you are helping, the more people that are relating to you, they are learning. They are not alone. So many people feel alone. There are millions of people that are victims of one thing or another, but in their head, they suffer silently because they are alone and they have no one else. That's what we are doing. That's what this is about.
That's what this is about. That's what this is about.
So, like I said,
one last time,
to you as well. By all means, I do not care if you go to Aaron first. It's not going to make me fucking cry. Let me know he's coming over. I'll be in chat.
Hell yeah. And I'm the same. If you want to go on this panel or somebody else's panel and talk about it, by all means do so. Get your story out there, because that's the only way we're going to create enough awareness to do it. But if you do that, if you go on somebody else's panel, please just give me a shout out and say, hey, I'm doing this because this dude right here and this lady right here is like, they're the ones that got me to want to do this. Just drop my channel link out. I don't care who you are. If you can get my channel link, you want to go put it in somebody else, broadcast it. Everybody has permission to post it anywhere the fuck they want to, man. 100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
If you like what you see and you like what you hear and you want to advocate, do it. That's what you have to do. If you want to help, share this live.
Absolutely.
And you're not helping just me. You're also helping Aaron, and you're helping others hear what's being said, and you're helping spread the awareness out there that there are two creators right here in the same panel trying and doing everything we can do to help everyone. Now, Aaron, I think you have a date with a fish, so get the fuck up out of here. No, I'm joking. But I mean,
hey, check it out. I got some fucking fish to go catch, so I'm going to get the fuck on up out of here.
Wow,
with that being said, Noel, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come up here and talk about this stuff, and I really appreciate it. Everybody else, like I said, this is serious to me. I'm passionate about this. I wake up in the morning. This is what I think about. When I go to bed at night, this is the last thing I think about is how to get this shit changed and create awareness. Thank you for listening to my story again. Thank you for being here on Damaged Goods with No Regrets. Come check out my channel. This is Get to Know. Tell your friends about me, because trust me, they're gonna want to know. I love each and every one of you, and I look forward to talking to you guys all later. Peace.
See you guys later. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Everybody, thank you so much for showing your support to Aaron. He does have a very good channel, and he means very well. He shares a lot of important information, and anybody with children, anybody without children is going to want to know what he has to say, and you're going to want to hear it. So, like I said, if you have a story you want to tell, email Aaron if you want to talk to him. If you have one for me and you want to set up a time where you can come on panel with me, email me, text me, call me. Let's work it out. If you want your story told, but you are not ready to come on panel yet, send me an email and I will read your story anonymously for you, because you deserve your story to be heard and people deserve to hear it. The only way we will make a difference is to share our tragedies. Unfortunately, we've all had them. one way or another, but people feel alone and they need to know that they are not alone. So with that being said, I love you all. Stay safe. Stay positive. And please take care of yourselves, your loved ones, your children, your grandchildren. Always make sure you know what is going on in every aspect of life. Don't let anybody you know and love become a victim of some scumbag. Let's all work together and try to get this shit straight. My email there's my email, I'll put it up. And my phone number is right here. It's not always going to be a pleasant conversation, but you know what? This playlist right here is not supposed to be pleasant. This is supposed to be about talking about the things that go wrong and that shouldn't go wrong. It's about educating people. Just because you're not violently being abused does not mean you are not being abused. So let's get together. Let's do something. Let's make it work. Thank you all for coming tonight. I appreciate all your time, your love, support, and your kind words. And I look forward to seeing you again. I will be on Monday, 11:30ish. We'll be talking about internet cyberbullying, harassment, and intimidation, because whether you actually believe it or not, it does happen. So that'll be my first live on that form of abuse. So everybody take care, stay safe, enjoy your weekend. Love you all.